step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. 26th edition of Nuga Games is here.
We gotta wake it. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, yeah, yeah. We are the champ.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting moment around the 26th Nigerian University Games Association. We call it Nuga, yes. It's the biggest intercollegiate sports competition. It's multi, and since Wednesday when we resumed hostilities, event has been actually super packed, exciting. And of course, a whole lot of you out there have been reaching out through our socials, getting across all the feeds, all the highlights, all the thrills and the frills. Of course, yesterday wasn't a good day for the University of Lagos contingent, particularly in the male section, because they actually lost the first game in the group stage. Of course, they have that to actually rewrite today when they take on another university from the north, Adamawa State University from Mubi. And that should be another big context, between the University of Lagos and its other counterparts. I'm not going to be doing this alone. My name is Bayo Salau. Welcoming you to yet another moment here with us on University of Lagos Television. It's Unilag TV, we call it, yes. And you can also reach us, get us feedbacks, comments as to whatever you think is getting you talking. It's at UnilagonTV across all social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and of course on Facebook. My name is Bansala once again. I'm being joined by Nii Apampa, who together we shall be looking at a lot of critical moments that actually went down in terms of results and mixed reactions. Yeah. Let's start off with the one that is of concern, major concern, the University of Lagos. We are the hosts, and I have a proud alumnus. Nii, how did you see yesterday's game?
Quite disappointing, really, because after the first game they had against Olabisi University, which was quite underwhelming. They had to leave it late until the final minute of that encounter before they could win. We thought that in the next game against Kogi State University, they would raise the ante. We didn't see that yesterday. They started on the right note, asking all of the questions in the early minutes of that encounter, but they let their foot off the pedal in the second half, especially when Marshall was stretched out due to an injury. And before you could say Jack Robinson, that howler from the goalkeeper happened. And everything just went down the drain for University of Lagos. They tried as much as possible to get the equalizer, but you have to give credit to the Kogi State University team. They were quite resolute, defensively, not really threatened, really, because my players that were expected that would come to the party for University of Lagos didn't do as much. I think Omotocho was quite underwhelming. Okwemi, yes, he tried his best.
Not of the same quality we saw the first game, Okwemi.
Yeah.
I think particularly in the whole, where I expected that he actually created some depth touches. I think the final third, the man was to be the outlet for us. Omotocho was a bit underperforming yesterday, so I didn't like that part. Yeah. And I think if there's one area of concern, it should be at the striking department, because for everything that we do right, for all of the stretch, for all of the knocking we make, I mean, there's so much of you having a dog backing and backing without biting. That's what I saw yesterday. Yeah,
that's what really happened, and you can't really blame Akwen because the supporting cast were not just there. Mojeba was out of form yesterday. We mentioned the motor show. They brought in Okoro. Augustine Okoro.
Augustine, okay.
Yeah, I think towards the end of the first half, I didn't start well, but towards the end of the game, he picked up. Saw some few exchanges with Omotosho, but all this didn't threaten Kogi State University, who obviously needed that game. If they had lost yesterday,
they were totally out.
The hopes of making it to the next round, would have been hanging on the balance there. But now, 4 points out of possible 6 is not too bad for them. All they need to do to really cement their place in the knockout stages, get a draw in their last game against Olabisi University, while University of Lagos are now condemned to win against Adamawa University today. Coach Ogushimori has a whole lot to do going into this next game against Adamawa State University, because the first 2 games, on the balance of the first 2 games that we saw, I don't think they've really lighted up the competition so far.
Well, that's so much about what we'll be talking about. But again, when you look critically inwards, there are certain things that you want to feel that the University of Lagos should be able to come up with in terms of, the deficit. The deficit's been ironed out. We are not from the technical department, but you could pretty much understand that it's not really been a team in coherence. They've not been specifically, playing together as a team or as a unit like one would have expected. But one thing is for sure, we will let you know the standings, the possibilities as to whether or not the University of Lagos stand a good chance to qualify into the next round of the competition. As it stands, we have Adamawa State University Mobi, we have the University of Lagos in that group, we have Olabisi Onabanjo University, then Kogi State University. The first game, we lost, and we won, we peeped. The second game, we narrowly lost. Yeah. That means 1 minus 1, that's 0 point for us. Yeah.
0 goal difference.
0 goal difference, 3 points. Kogi State University, the first game, they drew, and this other one, they won. That's 4 points. Adamawa State University, as it stands, they look like the whipping boys in that group, while Olabisi Onabanjo seems to be the trailblazer here. So, if you look at that, what should be our expectations around our qualification? Because all eyes will now be around the University of Lagos by the time we take to the pitch at about 10 a.m.
Yeah, they need to win outrightly. There's no missing word for that. I don't think they should go into that game against Adamawa State University with the mind of getting a draw. I think getting a win, a good win, will do a lot of good for their momentum going into the knockout stage of the tournament. And for the fans who have been there since day one, I mean, quite disappointed with the showing of the boys yesterday. I'm sure today, to make up for all of the lapses that happened yesterday, especially the outlet from the goalkeeper, a comfortable win against Adamawa State University would really appease the fans, really. But we can't write off our opponents because, fine, they look like the odd one out here, but then they still have a slim hope of qualification. They have a point. They win today. They have 4 points. Yeah. And hope that the other game between OU,
they take themselves out. Yeah. Either side. Yeah. So
I mean, it's an open group really. Nobody's assured of anything for now because there's so much riding on the last set of games that will be played today.
Okay, one interesting thing is that we were expecting the games to go on simultaneously. I hope that's what it is by the organizers, that they put the games to happen simultaneously. Because having not seen these two teams, play together, you would expect that these matches will be run. Because what we are hearing is that the matches will be played almost at different times, and that's not so good. Because if you look at it technically, because we don't want anybody to wait for some other person's result. So we expect that the last group games should be all played simultaneously. There's a game already going on at this moment, and we're going to do a little sneak peek on that. It's about Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, all the way from Bauchi, playing the Yusuf Maitama, Sule University from Kano. Two northern rivals, and you know what it is with the northern rivalry. We know the MPFL so well. When two northern teams are playing, it's almost a fanfare. It comes to some sort of glitterati. I'm not too sure if that's what this is all about. But again, from your own point of view, what do you think would come out better in this contest?
Well, I've not really taken a look at both sides, but if I want to go by the northern rivalry, you expect these two teams to go at each other. I mean, quite familiar foes really, because they are coming up from the northern part of the country. If we had to go by their first game, Footmina, I mean, they didn't do. Let
me try and run quickly. The standings and what's been so far in that group. It's from Group A actually. Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University played 3 games, as it were. Just one. I've drawn none, but of course lost none. The goal difference has been just 1. Goal against has been nothing. They've not scored against them. And of course, they've been very comfortable. While the Alex Ikweme Federal University of Technology, that's in Undufu Alike Ikwo in Ebonyi State, 1 point. At ATB had 3 points, sorry. They had 1 point. And they've won nothing. They've drawn 1. They've won none. They've lost none. And the goal difference, or goal for, has been 0. Goal against has been 0. The goal difference has been 0. While Yusuf Maitama as well, too, share almost the same fate, just like the Alex Ikweme University from Ebonyi. While the team now, they are playing now, Unsuk, have 0-0-0. Sorry, the next team that Undufu Alike Ikwo will be playing, that's Unsuk. They are at the bottom, and they are at the bottom half of that table. They have 0-0-0-1, 0-1, -1. They've not scored a goal. They've not lost any, they've lost all the games, and of course they've not been able to score any goal at all. So they are at the foot of the table. So it looks like ATBU are the team, coming out in good form in that particular order.
Yeah, probably based on their standing on the table. But I don't think their form too has been the very
Overwhelming,
best.
yes.
Yeah, they have 3 points.
3 points, yeah.
They've lost one and they've won one. Their last game against Footmina, they need to really solidify that. And for Footmina, of course, they just need to win. They have just a point. Yet,
Football say Funai actually Federal University Ndufali equal.
oh, okay.
Okay, Nii, let's quickly run through Group B, like rightly said. University of Lagos, 3 points. Of course, ADSU. That's talking about Abubakar Audu. That's talking about Kogi State University. That's Adamawa State University rather. KSU and OOU. OOU at the moment now are the one taking the lead. University of Lagos follow suit. Then there is Kogi State University and ADSU in that particular order. Group C, Unilag 3, Unical 3, Uniben 0, and SSU 0. In Group D, we have Foodmina, Federal University Dutse, and we have IAUE in second position with 1 point, OAU in 1 point, and of course, University of Ibadan, 0 points in Group D. While those are the 4 groups we are seeing play football in the men's category. Let's quickly touch base with the females. Yes, because we can't talk about the male without the female. I'm going to run you quickly on some of the group standings. From Group A, everything looks like it's working and working almost perfectly because it's a tussle. But one area of concern I want us to talk about will be where our University of Lagos has been actively involved. They had a case to actually put out there for people to actually come, for to see. And what was this case? The case was about them getting a penalty and being denied. They tagged that a daylight robbery by the coach, Dr. Asak. And they said they also saw a penalty shout for them. They were also denied unquestionably. I don't know why that was. Now, as they stand, Footmina seems to be topping their part. University of Lagos girls follows. BUK third, while UI are in rock bottom. What do you make of that particular encounter? They played yesterday against Footmina, and they didn't like the way it turned out because they were denied opportunity for a penalty because it was a red card offense. They said if that player was not even given a red card, at least a yellow card of caution should have been given.
Yeah, I mean, those are the few instances of questionable officiating that we've seen. Even in the game between Unilag men's team and KSU yesterday, I mean, there were controversies about the change of referee, the assistant referee one coming in the second half to be the center referee, and that raised some eyebrows by the Kogi State University bench, of course, understandably. But for the Unilag Angels yesterday against Footmina, I saw the highlight of the game today. The first goal that they scored, fantastic free kick. I mean, probably it should be in contention for the goal of
the tournament.
But then they were outdone by the questionable refereeing towards the end of that fixture. Unfortunately for them, they are still within touch of qualification.
Yeah.
If
they win their last game today.
Yeah, if they do their own work in their final game. So they just need to put all those behind them. I mean,
and concentrate.
Yeah, and concentrate
on the next games.
On the challenge at hand. Of course, I have a feeling that they should win comfortably in their last game because the team they are facing, I don't think they've got the edge over them.
Absolutely, just like Nee rightly said. But of course, there were several other sports away from football that we saw highlights, high moments, across all worlds, from swimming to basketball to cricket, and of course to much of athletics, track and field events. Yesterday, in the 100-meter sprint, University of Lagos Uche Glorious emerged as champion with 10.27, and that was really a fast time, considering the fact that when you run at the testing Balogun Stadium, it was much of a debate. Long before we started competition, I think we had our tartan track laid, it would have been pretty much easier for us. Or perhaps we used Yaba College of Technology. We learned yesterday that the guy said if he was not running against the wind, it would have been a much more lesser time than we would have secured, for that 100-meter win. But fantastic news for University of Lagos, emerging champion, and we can only hope that in subsequent games or subsequent challenges, we'll be able to write our script well. What so far, because I was going to ask you this, what so far has really been enticing, or can you rate so far your best moments around the Nuga games?
Well, we have a whole lot from the opening ceremony down to the first game of the Unilag men's team, which was quite
Electric.
electric. The
Yes.
fans, especially when Okoyemi got that last goal, the way they went in celebration, and like you mentioned, the Unilag men. The Unilag
Marines, 200 meters,
200
100
meter
meters.
athlete that just won gold yesterday. But then, I mean, these are some of the few highlights of the competition so far. Yesterday, even at the pool, it seems that University of Ibadan are also dominating from that end.
I think Nile University has to up the headlines for the right reasons. A lot is said about the team, and for me, there's a lot we talk about when it comes to sport. At the very grassroots level. I mean, Nile University. Yes, expectedly. I mean, when they said they were doing well at the swimming games, the one thing that came to mind is Nile University is what we're talking about. These are guys who practically have everything, exposure when it comes to swimming. A lot of them have actually traveled internationally to compete. So coming back home to such a facility, because for me the facility has really raised concerns, and these are positive concerns that University of Lagos have so far been in the good news, just for the right reasons. The Olympic stadium size swimming pool with also a switch timer, the only university in the whole of Nigeria to have a switch timer attached to its swimming pool. That's a lot. That's Olympic standard.
Yeah.
Without any iota of doubt, I think that what we are seeing is world class, and the guys are living up to those expectations. Nile University, just a word from us, University of Lagos Television, has actually caught the eye of many with impressive performances at the pool, and we cannot say that you guys have been really amazing. In the basketball court, University of Lagos, Nile University again, what is really happening? You think they also want to dominate the basketball game?
Yeah, that's the pick of the bunch today. Yesterday, OAU were in a match to University of Lagos, more like a blowout. I mean, it's very evident the gulf in class between
University of Lagos and OAU.
OAU. So the match everybody wants to see is now University, because there's so much riding on it.
Yes.
It's the battle for who will finish top.
Exactly.
Of that standard. So if you're out there, if you can find your way to the basketball courts of the sport complex, you don't want to miss the action today.
Absolutely. Of course, we'll be taking a very short breather, and when we come back, we'll take a look, a costly look now this time, because there's been so much, dilly-dally and not too convincing comments around the medal table. But so far, from our own point of view, this has been what's been able to put out there for you, just for you to be sure and keep abreast of what's going on around the Nuga games. It's not enough to show you all of these highlights, all of this movement, without telling you actually the story in the end, what we look like at this particular day. We'll take a short breather rather, and we'll be back to talk about it.
We gotta wake it. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, yeah, yeah. We are the champions. We gotta wake it. I'm gonna raise up the bar. Oh mama, yeah.
Action. Step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! Nuga games. Fitness. The dribbles. Dazzling skills. Dunks. On your marks. Get set. '26th edition of Nuga Game.
Nuga 2022 games live on YouTube at UnilagonTV. Catch the Nuga 2022 games live on YouTube at UnilagonTV.
Action. Step into the moment. Brace yourself. Gear up. Anticipate all expectations and boom! Nuga Games. Fitness